Khan, Shalom, Shalom, Israel, Shalom to the Torah, Yasharala, giving the chorus, all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Mahashiach, Malak Yahweh Shah. That's all praises, honor, glorification unto the Most High God, Yahweh, in the name of His own begotten Son, Yahweh Shah. This brother Yasharala coming back to y'all yet another video through the Spirit Pod, Yahweh, Bahashem, Mahashiach, Malak Yahweh Shah. All right, Shalom, Shalom, get straight into this, right? This is going into the book of Psalms, 127 chapter, breakdown. Remember, the Psalms, right? The short Psalms actually are fire because within every verse, you can pull about, you can pull a lot of points and precepts from, right? Especially when you get to the latter chapters of Psalms, man, right? But let's go into this. Psalms chapter 127, verse 1. Except the Lord built the house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. So except the Lord builds the house, and this is going into any type of house, really. It can go into any type of house. We kind of use this essentially for churches, because the Lord, guess what? The Lord, He didn't build that house. That nasty church down the street, right? The Southern Baptist Church, the damn Agape Church, the damn, Catholic Church down the street, in which they're worshiping Mother Mary and white Jesus. Within that church, guess what? The Lord, He didn't build that church, man. That church is of Satan, all right? So the Lord said, except the Lord built the house, they labor in vain that build it, right? You just labored in vain to build that house because you think that the Lord is in this church. You really think that the Spirit of the Lord is in your church, man? Well, that's actually the spirit of Satan, right? If you're singing, hollering, and dancing, trying to call upon the name of Jesus, right? You got white Jesus in your mind. You got white Jesus at your church, right? Hanging on a damn cross, you praising Him. Guess what? That's actually the spirit of Satan, all right? Because did not the Lord even say in the book of 2 Corinthians that Satan have transformed himself into an angel of light? So you might think that that's actually the Lord. Guess what? That's Satan. So except the Lord built the house, they labor in vain that build it. When did the Lord ever give the blueprints, ever come down to a certain individual and say, I want you to build a Catholic church, and it shall be like this, and it shall be 14 feet that way, and it shall run 20 feet that way, and see that thou also have the wood and the stone, and use not iron. No, the Lord never did that, man. Right? The Lord gave the blueprints to build what is known as Solomon's temple to who? David and his son, Solomon. And guess what? Solomon built him a house, right? Let's go to the book of Acts, right? Chapter 7. So Solomon built him a house, right? Now, did Solomon just wing it? Did he just say, I'm going to do what I want to do? I want to just build this for no reason, right? I just want to build a house for the Lord. Did he just wing it? Or did the Lord actually give him literally blueprints about how to build it, right? The Lord, He did that. So the Lord literally built that house. It's of the Lord, right? So Acts chapter 7 and verse 47. But Solomon built him a house, right? Meaning he built a house unto the Most High, right? I'm going to start at verse 45. Which also our fathers that came after brought in with Yahushua into the possession of the Gentiles, whom the Most High drave out before the face of our fathers unto the days of David, who found favor before the Most High and desired to find a tabernacle for the God of Jacob, right? So David, if you read that, if you read the narrative, essentially David, he wanted to build the Most High house. He wanted to build it. But guess what? The Lord said, no, David, you can't because you have too much blood in your hands. You killed way too many people, right? Although that killing was of righteousness, the Lord just said, nah, you killed too much people. I don't want my temple to be stained with that, man, right? Because remember, how does the saying go, right? David Saul have killed his thousands and David his 10,000s. Guess what? Eve back in the ancient world was singing that, all right? And that's how you know Israel. That's how you know we're Israel as well. But let's keep going. Acts chapter 7, verse 46. Verse 47. But Solomon built him an house. So Solomon built an house to the Most High God, right? That's known as Solomon's temple. Verse 48. Howbeit the Most High dwelleth not in temples made with hands, as saith the prophet. Right? So the Most High, he doesn't dwell in temples made with hands, man. You damn building a church after your own accord. You calling it the Most High's church. This is the Most High's church right here. Right? And who the hell are you? Right? When did the Most High ever come down and say, build a church, right? Down the street, right? And see that thou also have the Moabites and the Edomites in your church. The Lord, he never said that, man. And you have certain people building churches, they really think that the Lord dwells within those churches, man. The Lord, he said he doesn't dwell in temples made with hands. Everybody always thinks, oh, you got to go to Sunday church, man. That's where the Most High is. Where's that in the scriptures, man? That's not in the Bible. That it's a requirement to go to Sunday church, right? And that's the only day you serve the Most High, only on Sundays. Any other day, you're just wicked as hell, right? But verse 49, I said the prophet, this prophet is Isaiah, right? Heaven is my throne and earth is my footstool. What house will you build me? Saith the Lord, or what is the place of my rest? Hath not my hand made all these things? Right? The Lord said, have not my hand made all these things. The Lord, he made the earth and the fullness thereof. So how you gonna build a little ass church, right? Built of wood. How you gonna build a little ass church and think to and I'm talking to you Christians, right? And think to actually that the Most High is actually dwelling in that damn church, that godforsaken church in which the deacon is sleeping with the pastor's wife, right? No, that's madness, man. The Lord, he made all these things, right? And the Lord even said in the book of Matthew, right? The Lord even said that in the book of Matthew that what? Chapter 18, right? The Lord also said this, right? Matthew chapter 18 and verse 19. Again, I say unto you that if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Father which is in heaven. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. It doesn't have to be in a physical building, although it can be, but it doesn't have to be, man. It's wherever. The Lord said, for where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. So you can literally have church outside, man. Because guess what? What is the church? The church is the body of Israelites. It'll tell you that, man. Right? Let's go to the book of Acts. Let's just substantiate that. Right? The church is the body of Israel. Right? So if you're an Israelite, especially in this truth, guess what? You're part of the church, man. You're the temple of the Most High. Right? That's 2 Corinthians chapter 6 and verse 16. Right? Acts chapter 7, verse 37. This is that Moses, which said unto the children of Israel, prophet shall the Lord your God raise up unto you of your brethren, like unto me, him shall ye hear. That's Deuteronomy 18, verse 15 on down. Right? Verse 38. This is he, right? That was in the church in the wilderness with the angel which spake to him in the Mount Sinai, and with our fathers who received the lively oracles to give unto us. You see that? This is he that was in the church in the wilderness. So and this is Stephen, all right? So Stephen is saying that Moses was in the church in the wilderness, man. But you don't read about a church. You don't read about a physical building that Moses and the other Israelites went into every damn Sunday, right? That's not there, right? It's not. That's not what it's going into, right? This church is going into the body of Israelites, right? Let's further substantiate that with the blue letter Bible, right? With the blue letter Bible. Acts chapter 7 and verse number 38, right? Let's go to the word for church right here, right? Let's go for the word church right here. Ecclesia, all right? It says, let's see, there's a lot of definitions. Some of them's going off, right? But this says what? All right, so the first one is a gathering of citizens called out from their homes into some public place, an assembly. So it's going into assembly, right? An assembly of the people convened at the public place of the council for the purpose of deliberating. Here's B. The assembly of the Israelites. That's what it is, man. The assembly of Israelites. So it's right there, right? The assembly of Israelites. All right. So if you are an Israelite in this truth, guess what? You're the church. You don't have to go to a physical building, although you can, right? But you don't have to, man. Right? You can literally have a camp. Camp is outside. And guess what? That can be considered church. Because you got bodies of Israelites. They all believe in Yahushua. They're all there in the name of Yahushua. Guess what? We all set, man. Right? Psalm chapter 127. Right? Psalm chapter 127. And yeah, in verse 1, right? Except the Lord built a house, they labor in vain that build it. Except the Lord keep the city, the watchman waketh but in vain. So unless the Lord keeps the city, all right, then the watchmen, guess what? They don't do anything, right? It doesn't matter to have watchmen, right, in your towers. If the Lord doesn't want that city to be safe from harm and from fear, guess what? It's going to happen, right? These watchmen, they waketh but in vain. They're staying up all these long hours in vain, man. The Lord really is in control of everything, and that's what that verse is saying, right? The Lord, he's in control of everything. He's omnipotent, all-powerful. So literally, it's up to the Lord whether or not that city will be overthrown, right? Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 121, right? This is the book of Psalms, chapter 121, and verse number 3. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Israel shall neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is thy keeper. The Lord is thy shade upon thy right hand. Right? So the Lord is our keeper. Okay? So he has the choice and the ability, right, to either keep us from fear, keep us from harm, or give us onto it. Right? And that's essentially, in the sum, right, what that verse is saying. Psalm chapter 127, verse 2. It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows, for so he giveth his beloved sleep. So on one physical level, yes, that's true, man. The Lord, he does give his beloved sleep. Just like how I went into the previous video, in Ecclesiastes chapter 5, verse 12, the sleep of a laboring man is sweet. So, of course, the Lord, he likes to reward his servants. And he's always promised rewards unto those that do good. So, mind you, it says, for he giveth his beloved sleep. He doesn't give the enemy sleep, right? He doesn't give, sleep to the damn heathen, man, right? Although he can, and he is, kind of right now on a physical level. But his beloved especially, they get that special sleep, man, right? The elect, they get that special sleep, which is also going into the kingdom of heaven, right? His chosen people, they get the beloved, they get the special sleep, man. Right? That everlasting rest. All right. Verse 3. Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. So children are an heritage of the Lord. Right? And the fruit of the womb is his reward. In fact, it's actually a blessing to have kids, man. That's what the scriptures teach. It's a blessing. Because remember, certain people, they can't even have kids. And they're struck down with that I wouldn't really say a curse, but with that misfortune, right? Certain people, they cannot have kids. They're in a relationship, the wife loves the husband loves the wife, but they just cannot make kids. So what do they do, man? Right? They might have a surrogate mother. I don't know, but right? But certain people, they just can't have kids, and that really, messes with them, man. Right? Because certain couples, and you should want to have kids. You should want to, keep that commandment in which we have to be fruitful and multiply, right? That's Genesis, right? Let's go to Genesis chapter 1, right? It's the book of Genesis chapter 1 and verse 28. And Elohim blessed them. That's that word, God, right? And God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply. So the Lord said for us to be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. So heritage. So Children, that's a reward from the Lord, man. That's a blessing from the Lord, right? Really, cause literally, you just got to think about all the stuff that happens with reproduction. Just think about it, man. Right? Even going into the science of it, right? Going into the science of it, it takes so much, to have a child. It takes a lot, you know? You have to have the certain right amount of sugar levels and all this other stuff, right? If you study, you can study that on your own, right? It takes a long time for a child just to be born into the world, and they really go through a long trip. It's a long road, man, to get from the spiritual world all the way down, right, into a sperm, right, and that sperm goes into a egg, right. All this stuff, man. All this stuff ties into having a child. So it's really a blessing of the Lord if you have children, right? Because it's not easy, right? It's not easy. Psalm chapter 127, verse 3. Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward, right? Verse 4. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are the children of the youth, right? And also in the book of Sirach, it'll tell you to not desire an ungodly a multitude of children, right? Because for as much as children is a reward from the Lord, it can also be a curse. Well, not a curse, but something meant to bring you distress, right? Because in the book of Sirach, chapter 16, and verse 1, it says, desire not a multitude of unprofitable children, neither delight in ungodly sons. Though they multiply, rejoice not in them, except the fear of the Lord be with them. So you really want the Lord to be with them, right? In the fear of the Lord, right? Because you don't want to have children, right? You have hella children. You got like 10 kids, and they all bad as hell, right? They don't listen to you. They don't respect you. You keep trying to put them in order. They just not getting it, right? You try to teach them the commandments, right? You try to put the fringes on them. They take off the fringes, put it back on them, take it off again. They're cutting up the fringes. They're just bad children. You do everything you can. They just bad, right? So, you don't want to desire a multitude of unprofitable children, right? And ungodly children. We want children that have the fear of the Lord with them, right? Psalm chapter or Proverbs, right? And that's really when that's a blessing, man. When your children, right, call upon Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah at 3 years old, man, right? It's really a blessing when your children delight in the commandments. That's really a blessing right there, because it can also, it can always go two ways. Psalm chapter 22, verse 6, train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. So you want to train up a child in the way of righteousness so that hopefully when he's older, right, he doesn't depart from that since he's been raised up in it. Why should he ever forsake it, right? Because he's been raised up in it, man, all right? But Psalm chapter 127, verse 4, as arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth. So just like how arrows are in the hands of the mighty man. Hey, these arrows are that mighty man's this mighty archer. That's his friend right there. These arrows. He takes care of these arrows. He cherishes these arrows. And it's the same thing with the father to a son. If you want to read about that as well, right? That's also the book of Sirach, the 30th chapter. All right, Sirach chapter 30. It goes into raising your children. It goes into raising your son, man. Right? For example, like Sirach chapter 30 and verse, right? Yeah, right? Yeah, you can read that on your own, right? I would just read Sirach chapter 30, verse 1. He that loveth his son causeth him oft to feel the rod, that he may have joy of him in the end. So the Lord, especially in this chapter, goes into chastising your Lord. It's like you're chastising your child, right? Your son, so that, he's not a damn selfish ass Edomite like how these damn Edomites are, right? How they act. They never get ass whippings, man. They never get rebuked by their Edomite parents. And that's why these Edomites, they grow up to selfish ass people, right? because they never get chastised. All right. Even in the book of Job, chapter 21, it'll tell you that the rod of God is not even upon him, man. Right? Even the Most High doesn't chastise Esau sometimes. But what he does do is he refrains himself, like it says in the book of Isaiah 42, verse 13 on down, and he lets their evil works to accumulate, right? And then he strikes them down at the right moment. Bakan. It'll tell you that in the book of Wisdom of Solomon. Psalm chapter 127 and verse 5. Happy is the man that have his quiver full of them. Your quiver is like the place in which you put your arrows in, right? So like your arrow holder. But it says, happy is the man that have his quiver full of them. So you're happy when you have a great multitude of children. And guess what? We want to have a lot of children in the kingdom of heaven, man. It'll tell you that in the book of Job. That our offspring, our posterity, our children is going to be like the grass upon the earth. So many, right? And that's a blessing from the Lord. And they all righteous. That is a true blessing, right? Happy is the man that have his quiver full of them. They shall not be ashamed. So you're not going to be ashamed, man. Right? If you have a lot of profitable children, they striving to be righteous, they following in your footsteps, you being a righteous man or woman, right? You're not going to be ashamed, right? They shall not be ashamed, but they shall speak with the enemies in the gate, right? And your children's not going to be ashamed either. And guess what? They're going to speak with the enemies in the gate, man. They're going to get on Esau, right? They're going to get on these other nations. They're going to speak with the enemies at the gate, right? And also what? Sirach chapter 30 and verse, right? 3, right? He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy. So you teaching your son, man. Let's say you have a son, right? Whether you be a woman or a man in this truth, right? You teaching him the law, statutes, commandments. You teaching about his true heritage. You teaching about the true heritages and the true nationalities of these other nations. You teaching them the history about what they have done to his people, etc., etc. He that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy. And Esau is looking at that and he hates that, man. He hates that the fact that you raising up a young Judite, a young Issacharite, a young powerful Israelite in this thing, man. He's grieved at that. He's pulling out his hair and plucking out his damn beard. If you know, Esau doesn't even have beards, but you know, he's plucking out his hair, right? And it says, his son grieved the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him, man. Right? And you're going to rejoice over your child, right? So, with that, all praises to Yahweh, Bahashim Mashak Yahweh Shah. Lord willing, this is edifying. The water for tuning in, right? Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. Shalom.